Swadika, good morning and welcome to Newsline. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Cholapansa Navrula. It's Tuesday's edition. Let's have a look at today's main stories. It's 8:05 in the city of Bangkok. Let's begin with Thailand moves forward. In our first story, the Prime Minister has chaired an event to mark the founding of the Prime Minister's office. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha led a religious ceremony to honor the 84th anniversary of the Prime Minister's office at the Government House alongside its deputies, cabinet members, ministry permanent secretaries and distinguished individuals. The 84th anniversary of the Prime Minister's office is observed every June 28th. This year, an exhibition was also organized on the government's 20-year national strategy and the works of the office. A total of 3,000 memorial booklets have been printed, containing a message from the Prime Minister to be passed out to civil servants and members of the public. At the ceremony, the Prime Minister paid homage to 9 monks and presented them with symbolic items. Deputy Prime Minister Wisanu Krungam also led the handing out of royal decorations to 233 individuals being honored for their public service. The Prime Minister has brushed aside any likelihood of his resignation if the draft charter fails to pass in the upcoming referendum this August 7th. Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha insisted that he would never resign like British Prime Minister David Cameron has done after the UK referendum ended with a vote to leave the European Union. General Prayut said that a resignation has never been part of his plan. The Prime Minister said he entered office through a different channel when compared with his British counterpart. The Prime Minister added that he will stay to take responsibility for all the attempts to solve Thailand's several problems. General Prayut went on to say that informed volunteers will need to explain the details of the draft charter to the public in order to help them fully understand the country's highest law, while confirming that the core principles of the new draft remain the same as in the previous versions. The Election Commission, or EC, has joined with the Ministry of Education to set up the 6 weeks to referendum activity, an event to publicize the public referendum on the draft charter to the people. Education Minister Dawpong Ratanasuwan said his office will focus on educating youths and teachers on the referendum and that it has instructed all educators to encourage their students to take part in the vote. EC member Prawit Ratanapian admitted he is concerned the Commission will not achieve its 80% turnout target, pointing out that a similar poll in 2007 saw only 57% of voters coming out. He said nonetheless that the Commission has learned from the past referendum and has improved its communications with the public and cooperation with relevant agencies. The EC is to forward 6 weeks to referendum manuals to the Ministry of Education for distribution in schools nationwide. The manuals will contain all relevant information for preparing to take part in the vote scheduled for August 7th. Meanwhile, the EC has been expediting the training of staffers for the public referendum. According to EC Chairman Supachai Somjaran, on Monday chaired the second round of training sessions for public referendum officers in Songkhla province, during which he urged all participants to launch an active public relations campaign to encourage voters to come out and exercise their rights. An advisor to the Deputy Prime Minister, Prapon Milintachinda, kicked off a special project to educate government officials about corruption awareness and ethics, while calling on the people to come out and cast their votes on August 7th. In Mae Hong Son Province, Deputy Director of the EC Office, Nataseth Rachaya, also launched the training program for district-based volunteers. The program focused on ensuring the quality of the votes. Officials in Northern Bungkan Province followed up on a project to promote social reform, which was conducted by community-based volunteers. Steering Assembly has discussed economic reforms focusing on intellectual property. The NISA Committee on Economic Reforms has submitted a report to the main assembly on IP reforms. The committee asserted that changes are needed in the handling of IP in the interest of economic innovation and development. It noted that the coming wave of economic changes is based on creativity, making IP rights a major issue. The report called for agencies protecting IP rights to be revamped for greater efficacy and to support the investment and expansion of IP-based industries. It pointed to government policy calling for resources and manufacturing to be bolstered by knowledge, technology and research to add value and boost competitiveness in Thailand. Most in the NRSA members agreed with the points of the report, saying it would support Thailand's economic development. The sitting approved the report with 168 members voting in favour. Commerce Minister Apiradi Tantraporn has instructed provincial commerce offices to prevent a price drop in fruits and urgently encouraged farmers to utilize the government's countermeasures. The minister delivered policy on promotion and development of regional economies and trade to provincial commerce offices nationwide. She stressed that it was necessary for them to stabilize the prices of fruits and rice. The minister added that farmers need to know how to reap the greatest benefit from government's measures to assist them. Ms. Apiridi also stated that it was necessary for provincial commerce offices to help strengthen SMEs, community enterprises and farmers groups so that they were able to add value to their products. She added that the provincial offices should help farmers learn about how to buy products and services which could help lower the cost of living. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Commerce is determined to upgrade Thai SMEs and provide them with technology and innovation support in line with the Thailand 4.0 policy. During the Defining 4.0 seminar co-organized by the Ministry and the private sector, Deputy Director General of the Department of International Trade Promotion or DITP, Kun Chantira Yimrewat Viwatrat, stated that the government is striving to promote public understanding of the new economic model called Thailand 4.0. Under this model, she said the Thai economy will be driven by the use of technology and innovation. SMEs will be given assistance in branding and marketing with the aim of enhancing their capabilities and getting them ready for changes and fierce competition in accordance with the SMEs 4.0 policy. Besides branding, the DITP chief noted that Thai SMEs tend to be risk-averse and have problems opening up to new ideas and opportunities. In this regard, the DITP will equip them with necessary know-how and help open new doors for their businesses. The department will promote product or business innovation, increase their access to funding, and arrange networking events, both in Thailand and overseas. The UK's decision to leave the European Union will not be official for at least 2 years, as new trade and political agreements must first be established. Nevertheless, the incident has already created a stir in the global economy, especially with the current volatility of the pound, which can affect short-term trade with Thailand. The long-term effects will likely remain unclear for another 2 years. Kun Benjamin Ruchopakan has more.
The Business Research Department of the Export-Import Bank of Thailand, or Exim Bank, has released its assessment of the short-term effects of the so-called Brexit, predicting a weaker pound will make imports to the UK more expensive. As a result, demand for overseas products, particularly luxury and non-essential goods, are expected to decline. Thai exports will likely be affected in the short term as well. The UK accounts for only 2% of Thai car exports, making the industry resilient to the direct effects of the Brexit. However, Thai motorcycle exports will likely take a hit, as the UK accounts for 9% of the industry's global market. Gemstones and jewelry are considered luxury items and will also be affected by currency volatility in the short term. Processed chicken to the UK, which accounts for 28% of total exports, will likely be affected, as importers will negotiate lower prices. However, due to the essential nature of the product, export volumes are not expected to decline dramatically. British tourists currently account for 3.2% of the total number of foreign visitors to Thailand and are expected to decline due to the weakening pound. However, Thailand's tourism sector is expected to continue growing due to the anticipation of more tourists from China and Russia. In the long term, Exim Bank expects processed chicken and canned sweet corn to the UK to rise once the country exits the European Union. Processed chicken is currently regulated by EU trade quotas, and canned sweet corn is subject to EU tariffs. However, canned tuna exports are likely to suffer, as one of Thailand's major canned fish companies had recently acquired a major French producer. With the UK being a major buyer of canned tuna from France, the two countries will no longer enjoy bilateral trade benefits once the UK officially leaves the EU.
Turning to our next story, the Social Security Office, or SSO, is preparing for the national e-payment system by allowing employers and those insured to pay their contribution to the Social Security Fund through commercial banks. Insured persons under Article 40, Section 40 that is, of the Social Security Act can pay their contribution at branches of Krung Thai Bank and Bank of Ayutthaya. Those insured under Section 39 can pay the contribution with Krung Thai Bank, Bank of Ayutthaya and Thanachat Bank. They can also deduct the contribution from bank accounts they have opened with the Government Savings Bank, Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives, Kasikorn Bank, SCB, Krung Thai Bank and Bank of Ayutthaya. Employers can pay their staff's contribution at branches of the aforementioned banks via the SSO's e-payment system. SSO Secretary General Govit Sachawiset said Social Security payments via the e-payment system will offer more convenience for employers and insured persons. By the end of 2016, all banks will be able to accept Social Security contributions. The National Anti-Corruption Commission, or NACC, has held a public speaking competition for high school students on the topic of corruption in order to instill consciousness towards eliminating corruption. NACC Deputy Secretary General Chairat Kanithabut chaired the panel's annual public speaking contest. High school students from across the country will get to select one of three topics, namely the mechanisms for eliminating corruption, how one can contribute to eliminating corruption, and the reason why Thailand lacks transparency. 6 candidates will be selected from each region through a preliminary round from June to August. The final round will take place in September. The winner will receive certificates and prize money on the anniversary of the NACC on November 18th. Tourists start turning away from the famous Bang San beach in Chonburi province as the area has been hit by a plankton bloom, with the water turning green. The plankton bloom has reportedly caused a decrease in dissolved oxygen off the coast of Bang San. Locals are hoping that rainfall will soon dissipate the plankton bloom, otherwise marine animals could suffocate to death. In the meantime, the sea has turned a dark green color and is emitting a foul odor, driving away visitors and leaving the beach unusually quiet. Business operators on Bang San Beach claim the plankton bloom is an annual phenomenon. However, the latest occurrence is the first of the year and there has been no sign of improvement. Many businesses, including water scooter and banana boat rentals, are feeling the pinch from the lack of customers. Nevertheless, business operators express confidence that the plankton bloom will eventually ease off and Bang San Beach will return to normal condition within 7 days. And that's it for Thailand Moves Forward. We'll take a quick break. Newsline will come back with more international news right after these messages. Stay tuned.
Don't trust anyone who says, "Trust me." Who's ever earned your trust? I have a friend. He's Thai. He leads a simple life. He finds joy in simple pleasures. He's sincere. He takes to heart the Buddhism belief of using reason and doing good. He follows the king's sufficiency economy theory that advises self-reliance, living without greed and being content with what you have. He shares with others. He takes care of his foreign friends like they're part of his family, and when he's upset, he compromises. He smiles even when faced with obstacles. If you're looking for a friend, what kind of friend would you like? A friend who's ready to lend a hand. A friend that you can be yourself. A friend who smiles at you with sincerity. Trust me. Trust Thailand.
If the earth is your home, the ocean is theirs as well. Working together, the government and private sector can solve all the issues currently facing the Thai fishing industry. From legitimizing fishing operations to helping out our fellow fishermen and collaborating with international parties.
ตอนนี้ถึงเวลาแล้วนะครับที่เราจะต้องมาร่วมมือกันทำให้มันถูกต้องมันก็ต้องปรับตัวในช่วงแรกแต่ในระยะยาวมันก็คุ้มค่าถ้าไม่มีอาชีพนี้เราก็ไม่รู้จะทำอะไรกันแล้วผมก็พร้อมครับที่จะเป็นส่วนหนึ่งในการแก้ปัญหา
Trust in Thailand for a sustainable Thai fishing industry.
Welcome back. You're watching Newsline. I'm Cholapansa Narula. The Deputy Prime Minister for Economy has travelled to China to invite investors to Thailand's Eastern Special Economic Zones, or SEZ, ahead of a cabinet meeting set to discuss legislation for the area. Deputy Prime Minister Somkit Jatusi-Pitak is on his first official visit to China since assuming his role in the cabinet. The trip was established with the purpose of attracting Chinese investment to Thailand and will start with a meeting with some of China's largest real estate firms. Major companies such as Huawei have already expressed interest in Thailand, with a mobile phone maker looking to set up a research and development base in the kingdom to establish a presence in the CLMVT and ASEAN markets. China Fortune Land and Development and ICBC Bank both made known their interest in investing in Thailand's Eastern SEZ, which is set to have new legislation passed in support of attracting investors. While in China, Dr. Somkit can lead his delegation to visit the Shanghai Free Trade Zone so they may observe its operations for possible applications in Thailand. In the first 4 months of this year, China was the third most frequent source of requests for investment assistance in Thailand, with 26 projects worth 75 billion baht seeking to enter the kingdom. The Marine Department signed an agreement with relevant agencies to raise water transport safety standards. Deputy Transport Minister Mr. Omsin Chiwapruk chaired a seminar on water transport safety which was held in Phuket province over the weekend. Among the attendees were Marine Department Director General Sarasak Sansombat, Phuket Governor Jamrern Thipayapongthada, representatives from 6 tour agencies based in the provinces along the Andaman Sea, and officials from related agencies. An agreement was signed to establish a water transport safety center and to align safety regulations to international standards in a bid to foster tourist confidence. According to Marine Department Chief Sarasak, provinces along the Andaman Sea are considered to be among the world's most visited tourist destinations, making tourist safety a priority. These provinces include Phuket, Phang Nga, Krabi, Ranong, Trang and Satoon. To this end, 4 safety measures will be adopted in these provinces, and they include measures to enhance accident response and prevention, extend aid to accident victims, and support safety-related research and development. Next, we take you to Laos. An escape from the city's hustle and bustle to enjoy nature can be stress-relieving, and the Indigenous Cultural Center in Utthayan Ba Chiang offers the experience of tribal life. Travelers can visit in homestays and learn about ethnic culture and traditions. Our correspondent, Kun Pimchanok Ratanapiset, pays a visit to the ethnic village in Champasak of southern Laos.
This is a village that welcomes all visitors from near or far with interest to see the diversity of ethnic tribes in southern Laos. Just a walk from the notable Paswan waterfall in Utthayan Ba Chiang, an ethnic village can be found situated in natural surroundings. Visitors get to know all the 14 tribes living in the area without having to travel across the country in searching of them. Most of the staffs working in Utthayan Ba Chiang are Nge. Other tribes include Katu, Yahun, Lawe, Arak, and many more.
For some tribes, we bought their antique houses and moved them here. Some tribes, we hired workers to build the replicas of tribal houses and invite their families to live in.
Lawe Single Pole House or Ban Sao Diao is a tryst, a meeting place between lovers. It is believed that married person who enters the single pole house will be monogamous for life, and that single person who goes up the house will be able to find a soulmate. Oi use a single bamboo ladder to climb up the house. When they reach the top, they pull in the ladder to prevent the tiger from entering their house. Arak carves the wood into crocodile as they believe that it would protect family members from dangers. A museum in the middle of the village exhibits tribal appliances, art and painting, and a figure of Luang Pu Man Puritatto, a famous Thai Buddhist monk who is respected by many tribes people. While most of the kids are off to school, elders welcome visitors in front of their house. Lawe women decorate themselves with circular white compact in their ears. The cream compact replaced the ivory used in the olden times.
We teach them to earn a living by selling resources they find in nature. People who do handicraft can make money from weaving fan, wicker, and fabric.
The use of portable backstrap loom is the art of Arak weaving. A backstrap loom has a belt worn around a person's waist and is stretched with their feet. It takes 5 to 7 days to complete one. Longer piece of fabric can take up to 10 days. A local guide, Kampasuk, who takes us around the village is Griang, a tribe from Galum district, Sekong province.
Tribes people have the job and get to sell textile and organic fruits as travelers from all around visit our village and support us. We all can escape from misery, and I am proud and happy of taking on a duty as PR personnel.
Kun Vimon, who is visually impaired due to a malaria-induced coma that happened a week after Utthayan Ba Chiang had opened, continues to support the villagers and help preserve the tribal culture and traditions as long as he lives. Camera work by Pornmongkol Suthi and Pimchanok Ratanapisay, NBT World, Champasak, Laos.
What a great place that was. And that's it for today's edition of Newsline. Thank you very much for joining us today. We end the program taking you to Lithuania. It was a goat beauty pageant that was held in a Lithuanian village. So do enjoy. I'm Chola Pansana Rula. We'll see you tomorrow right here on Newsline. Have a great one. Sawasdee ka.